Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm here at the beautiful Laytown Bettystown Links in County Meath. I'm going to play a few holes and give you some ideas which may help you manage your golf game better on the golf course. So I'm here on one of my favourite holes on the links, the par 4 7th, which plays 395 yards from the back tee. And as you can see, we have two fairway bunkers playing about 250 out, and up at the green we have a greenside bunker on the right hand side, and then the slopes work away from the putting surface. So this is a lovely challenging hole and one of the best holes on the golf course. So every time we play golf, we are faced with a set of problems. And as golfers, it's our job to come up with a solution that is best for our golf game. So on this hole, it's pretty neutral. So I'm going to try and move where I tee up on a teeing ground to try and suit my shot shape. I see so many golfers set up in the middle of the tee box and try and hit a straight shot. Their intent is to try and hit the ball straight. Now, I've been coaching golf for over 20 years and I've been fortunate enough to teach high-level amateurs and professionals. And professionals have a pattern. They're either a fade bias pattern or a draw bias pattern. And they use the teeing area to their advantage. So the first tip I want to give is have intent. What shot shape are you going to try and hit? And secondly, where am I going to tee up on the tee box? So my solution is that I'm going to use my forward and I'm going to try and hit a draw shape. And the reason why I'm using my forward is that I can carry the two bunkers, but I don't want to hit it so far where I'm going to get into the bottleneck of the hole. And I'm going to tee up on the left hand side of the tee box, and the reason for this is that it's going to open up the hole on the right hand side to allow me to start the ball right and to curve the ball back into the centre of the fairway where I want to position my tee shot. Now, if you're a fader of the golf ball, you can tee up on the right hand side. This is going to open up the left hand side, which is going to allow you to start the ball left and move it to the fairway. So once I have that solution in my mind, I am now going to pick my target line, and I have a visual of where I want the ball to start and where I want it to end. So I've picked my target. I've now picked my intermediate target. And from there, I'm going to do my pre-shot routine behind the golf ball. So what I'm trying to do with my pre-shot routine is to try and bring what I've worked in the driving range or the practice ground to the golf course. So I'm trying to create fields of what I was working on my golf game. And to this point, what I've achieved is I have achieved intent, a shot shape. I've teed up on the left hand side of the tee marker to give me the best angle to play the shot. And I've done a pre-shot routine to try and bring my range practice to the golf course. So let's give it a go. Oh, I pumped that. So I've hit a decent tee shot and I've left myself 111 yards to what I call a green light flag. So I classify the position of the flag to the traffic light system. If the flag is in a green light position, I can take on that flag all day long. If it's a little bit more tucked to a bunker or a problem area, I will have that as an amber flag. And if it's in a really bad position, I count it as a red flag position. So only take on shots where you have a green light, and every other shot then play sensible. Don't hit a shot where you can short side yourself. Use the fat side of the green or the front of the green or the back of the green, depending on where the pin location is. So this shot is a green light, So we're going to try and take on the flag here and see can we get it pretty close. So I've picked my golf club. I'm using a 48 degree. I'm going to try and hit a 3/4 48. That roughly is about 110 yards from me. So yet again, I'm going to pick my target line. I'm going to have an intent of shot shape and trajectory for this shot. And I'm going to use my pre-shot routine to create them feelings to try and execute that shot. So let's give it a go. Pretty decent effort, might be a touch long. Oh, close. Nice. Run and get the divot, always repair the divots. Greenkeepers here do an absolute fantastic job. Course is always in amazing condition. So as we can see, decent effort. It was a little bit long, but happy with that result. Executed the shot the way I wanted to do it, and hopefully we can drain it in. Nice chance to get the line thanks to the dew on the green. So let's see, can we make birdie. So I've marked and cleaned the golf ball. I've looked at the slopes and green from side on and from behind, and thanks to the bit of dew on the green I can see exactly what way this ball is going to slope. So it's all about controlling the pace. So I've picked my line and I'm going to try and control the pace and hopefully get it close or in. So a couple of fields in the putting stroke, so a little routine, having a look at where I want the ball to kind of start and curve into the hole. Couple of more looks, and then we're going to try and execute the putt. That was a poor effort, but a nice solid 4. So we're here on my favourite hole at the Laytown Bettystown Links, the par 3 12th, and we're faced with another set of problems. And the first problem that I noticed straight away is the angle of the teeing area. It's pointing me about 50 yards to the right. So to counteract that, I'm going to tee up on the right hand side of the tee box, but also we're faced with a tricky hole. It's playing 183 yards. There is a false front that is going to, if we hit the ball there, it's going to roll back about 30-40 yards, and we have a bunker on the right hand side. So I'm going to try and pick a golf club that is going to carry that front edge easily, even if I hit a poor shot, and I'm going to try and hit it at the left hand side of the green and try and fade it back into the flag location. So we're going to tee up on the right hand side. I've picked a club that should easily carry the front edge, even if I don't strike it pretty good. The only trouble on this hole is short and right. So I've created my intent. I've picked my target line and I've picked my intermediate target. I'm going to do my pre-shot routine. So I'm going to try and get the club a little bit more in front of me on the way down to try and get the pat a little bit more left. And we're going to try and execute the shot. Oh, that's not the best golf shot in the world. It's carried, but I've kind of pushed it a little bit more right. So I started a little bit further right than I wanted to, but I should be okay. So walking up to the green, we can see that false front. It's quite strong, so if you're short, you're going to come back to roughly where I am now and be left with an extremely tricky shot. Didn't hit the best shot in the world, but because I picked the right club, or a club that will carry the front edge, I've landed pretty okay. As I said, it wasn't the best shot in the world, but I've got away with it. So what I'm trying to achieve here is to get an awareness of how far I have to hit the putt. So I like to walk the full length of the putt and have a view from behind the hole to kind of have a look at the terrain of the green to get an idea of the starting line and how much break is going to be on the putt. So I'm going to have a couple of looks, try and find a high point. I've got an awareness of how far I am away from the hole. I'll have one final look behind the ball just to confirm, and then I'm going to stick with my plan. So there is a bit of dew on the green, so it's going to be a little bit slower up the hill. So let's see, can we make birdie? It's tracking, so good pace and a quite comfortable par. Got away with the tee shot, but because I had a good course strategy and had intent of what I was trying to achieve, I got a little bit lucky. So say I have picked the wrong club and I came up short. We can see where this ball is going to land. Still rolling, still rolling. So let's see where that ball has come to rest and what shot we will be faced with. So depending on what or where the trouble is, pick the club wisely and don't pick it for your best strike. Give yourself a couple of yards to give you some room for error. So as you can see, instead of putting for birdie, I am now faced with this shot. But I've only dropped that about a club width away from the front edge, and look where it's come. I've now left with an extremely hard chip shot, pitch shot from a tight lie. So I've put 3 balls down, and the reason why I put 3 balls down is that every time we play golf we are faced with a problem, as I mentioned earlier. This is a problem. It's a high tariff problem, but every golfer has options. So there's 3 ways we can try and get this ball close. So I have a putter. We're going to use that for the Srixon 3 ball. I've got a 9-iron, which we're going to use for the Wilson golf ball, and we're going to use my lob wedge for the Srixon 2 golf ball. And all we're going to do here is to see what is the best solution to get up and down from here. I know a lot of elite players would probably use a 60 here to be able to control the spin in the loft, but the dew is there's a little bit of dew, so it might be able to have as much spin. But it is a high tariff shot with the 60. So let's give it a go. Play that nicely, but that's still going to run on. We'll use the 9-iron to use the slope to our advantage. We're going to use a putting stroke. This might be the best option if you struggle with hitting pitch shots off a tight lie. So we're going to use the slope, so we're going in a little bit right on the putting stroke. That's come out quite nicely. And the final option, if you're really nervy, could be putter. So don't be afraid to give this an extra bit of ump to make sure that it gets over the slope. You don't want that ball to come back to you. So that hasn't turned out too bad either. So let's go up, have a look, see where these balls have positioned themselves and which one is giving me the best option to make par. So we can see here, the first one is the putter, and the 2 to the right are the 9-iron and the lob wedge. It is a high tariff shot, so just be careful when you're picking the club that you give yourself a little bit of leeway to the danger area. You know, if the perfect club is a 7-iron, but if you hit it a little bit heavy and it hits the slope, pick a 6. Pick the club that keeps you away from trouble. we don't always hit the ball flush. So give yourself that little bit of lee room and keep yourself away from the danger area. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the content, click like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you're notified of my next tutorial. I'd like to say thanks to Laytown Bettystown Links for the opportunity to play this fantastic golf course. Stephen and his staff look after the golf course unbelievably well. It's in pristine condition. And Gavin in the pro shop, one of the nicest pros you'll meet in the country.